Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the FSL Philippines Qualifiers. Once again, I am Hungry Cass. Alongside me is the young and adventurous Spoots. How are you doing this?
Spoots?
Adventurous.
Oh, okay.
I feel like we've seen two regions compete so far.
Yeah.
There's been up and downs. I think for me, the highlight was Thailand last week. Really clean in terms of execution as well as draft. Philippines this time, a lot more teams coming in. Let's not deny the fact there are 20 teams coming in, so it's going to be a long day of qualifiers. That being said, we are halfway into our picks and bans for the first match. It's going to be on the blue side coming in, PlayLoud Esports versus Pacific Ping. And our OB was actually commenting about how this time during the Philippines qualifiers, the teams themselves have tags, so it's very nice and professional. So I do like that. Makes it a lot easier for us to cast. But that being said, there are a lot of storied teams, there are a lot of storied players that are returning to FSL. This is not the first time, it's not the second time, in fact it's the third time we are running FSL Elite League of Legends Edition. So we did have a variety of representatives. I think the previous season was Liab Halia that made it through as the Philippines qualifiers. Before that was Barsi Esports. So this time we'll be looking for a different representative. Maybe, who knows, Liab might be making a return to their throne in the Philippines qualifiers.
Yeah, 20 teams, we definitely don't have a shortage of choices for the eventual Philippines representative in FSL Elite.
Yeah, so just looking at the picks and bans, of course we did omit to talk about that, but right now we're halfway through. On the blue side, we do see the Morgana, Yasuo, as well as Nar. Very interesting choice bans coming in. Meanwhile, on the red side, we will see the Kassadin, Xayah, as well as Ahri. Ahri, no surprise, in terms of the stats we've been looking at. A lot of regions actually do opt to ban either the Ahri or Syndra. It's sort of like a pocket pick whenever we look at FSL. That being said, Jarvan insta lock-in, no surprise there as well. One of the more favored junglers right now at the point in time. Karma and Elise on the return side for Pacific Ping.
Yeah, Karma right now in this patch is actually quite a bit of a flex pick. I think in this patch especially you're able to take the Karma towards the top side, especially into all of those melee matchups. She's actually quite strong there. That's a Malphite locked in as well. You would think that that would be top.
It could be top, it could be support. We don't know it just yet, of course. The idea of Malphite with the sort of reworked kit that the champion has still kind of plays a pivotal role in team fighting. I do see the value of the Wombo combo here with Jarvan, Malphite, and now with Vega, a lot of area control.
Yep.
You step into a zone that's controlled by them in terms of vision, they're going to pull the trigger and fight you. To touch a bit more about your Karma topic, I was watching the dive earlier this week, the NALCS podcast that they have, and they're saying how every time Karma has some sort of changes to numbers, when you think about her base numbers being altered, right? She immediately comes up to this obnoxious level of we gotta pick her because her numbers are good and we can support the AD carry and mid lane very well. In this case, you pair it with a Draven, that's actually a really frustrating bot lane to play against, because not only is the speed from the Draven the speed from the Karma good at enabling the Draven, but it's also very strong poke coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. Once they get the first item, it's really if you're not able to dodge all these skill shots coming at you, you're just not gonna have a good day in that lane at all.
Especially with the changes to support itemization now, most people understand that as supports you get a lot more gold, a lot of accessible gold as well, right? The idea that your support item upgrades itself by the quest, you don't have to spend money on it. Suddenly Karma is getting first item, things are holy grail. This sort of nonsense shenanigans coming in, you're like, well, I hate my life in this lane, I don't want to play League of Legends anymore. Bans coming through. We see the Caitlyn as well as the Poppy in the second round. So not so much meta-specific bans, but like region and team-specific bans, right? Because you take a look at the global meta. I say that with global meta, We've only been watching LEC and LCS. Aphelios Senna has been popping off. We see a lot more. Jarvan, of course, we do have in this game. Olaf, Mordekaiser, these are power picks that have been actually left open, but neither team really opting to look for them.
Yeah, that's actually the point I want to bring across. So many bans that we see in this game, especially we're not going to see. Like these bans you're not going to see in major leagues, right? That's the point you're going to, that's the point you were harping on earlier. I think the Shen right now also a very strong pick, so definitely deserving of that ban. Overall, I think, just looking towards counters, like you're just banning away things that you don't want to play against.
Which brings us to the idea, we're talking about this the past couple of regions as well. Every region has their own micro meta. When we look at Vietnam, the average game time is about 35 minutes. They tend to pick the scaling champions a bit more, Varus and Jinx. We don't see that at all from Thailand. Thailand wants to go hard and they want to go fast. They pick stuff like Aphelios, average game time is 32 minutes, very, very quick. So even when it comes to each individual qualifier, Philippines has yet to distinguish themselves. We'll definitely take a look at what they have today, but it seems as though stylistically, when it comes to pitting each region against each other, there's going to be a lot of difference.
Yeah, because in the previous season, actually, one of the points that I really like to focus in on was that Philippines was actually the macro region.
Right.
But with the showing that we saw from Thailand in the previous week, the contention for that title is actually there. We do see the Ornn lock-in very
Ooh,
strong
finally.
in this patch as well.
This is some like chef's kiss meta pick that I like to see. And
Akali,
Akali, oh baby, there we go.
She's not gutted yet.
Yep.
Still pretty strong, but that is Orianna. Not as exciting, but still very stable, especially with the composition that they already have drafted.
So one thing I want to note is that the current pick man percentage of Orianna in general across the region is actually pretty high.
Yeah.
That being said, with the composition as well, it makes sense because now your wombo combo just got even more wombo combo here, if that's a way to put it. Yeah. So overall, this comp definitely does make sense, although should be noted, heavy reliance on magic damage. So in terms of the damage mix, the profile is only magic damage, and you're looking at what is ostensibly awesome Dude Vega in the bot lane.
Yeah, and that is Nocturne mid.
Vedia's really proud.
So spicy.
All right. Overall, both teams very unique compositions. I'm not gonna harp too much on the idea of micro metas. We were talking a bit about this, but let's just look at the draft themselves in isolation.
Okay.
My original thought was, oh, it's gonna be an awesome Dude Vega. In this case, it might be bot lane Ornn and Orianna if they are. Well, it appears they are not queued up in order, right? So how do you wanna look at this? What's your bet right now? I feel like it could still be a bot lane Vega.
I mean, at this point, with all these champions you have drafted, I don't think it matters who goes where. Like, you're able to swap lanes in game as well, so you can just honestly just throw anyone wherever they want to be. And at the end of the day,
old school, like, okay, we're gonna roll the dice and try to get the best matchup. They don't know.
Yeah.
They can't predict our plan if we don't know what our plan is, so we're just going blind.
They don't know Pepe Love.
Yeah. Exactly.
But at the end of the day, this composition is just for team fights, right? You want to go in, you want to combo. If all these champions, you got Malphite, Jarvan, Orianna.
Right.
That's the MO. That's what you want to do.
The weakness, though, like we mentioned earlier, the damage profile is heavily geared towards magic damage. Looking at the composition that they're up against, someone like Sett actually excels against mages, especially people that like to burst him down because of the grit. I'm not sure if our viewers understand this, but his sort of passive that he has is he builds up grit with damage taken, and when it's after a certain amount, you want to unleash that with your W, the Haymaker, it pops out true damage, right? So you just, all you have to do in this game as Sett is build magic resistance, build health, and you can take these extended fights, which makes it very difficult, I think, very difficult right now for the PlayLoud Esports side to kind of deal with the Sett pick.
Yes, that's a very tanky boy, like deceivingly tanky. You don't want to go into extended fights, like you said, with him because of that true damage and the shield that comes up with the grid as well, once he stores up enough of that. So I want to keep an eye on the Sett, whether or not he or she rather is going to be able to perform.
We always have that problem.
To par, you know.
Yeah. Overall as well, just looking at the Nocturne mid pick, Nocturne jungle actually has fallen off a little bit more. The reason behind that is because, talking extensively about this idea of jungle EXP gains extremely low now. In 10.2, which is the patch we're playing on, they have not made the changes to the jungle EXP just yet. So for a jungler to hit level 6, much slower than anyone else. Nocturne is a champion that needs to come online, needs to hit level 6 as soon as possible. With the pivot towards the mid lane now, this mid lane Nocturne gets level 6 much quicker, has access to Paranoia, and can start impacting the side lanes. And I can see two perfect side lanes that can garner the attention for the Nocturne to kind of go and snowball.
Yeah, all three of the lanes actually coming in from the side of Pacific have the ability to pop off. These champions are extremely strong, and once they get a hit, you have to think that you're going to take that lead and just run through the goal with it.
I'm curious if the Elise is going to start on the blue buff or on the red buff, because when I've been looking at the current jungle pathing styles from most people, the general agreed idea is you want to do buff Gromp. Yeah, for the quickest level 3, right? Not only is it super efficient, it also gives you the quickest level 3 with the least resources spent. And the jungle right now is in a weird place where, because every camp respawns quicker but gives less EXP, the more you jungle your camps, it's actually just doing more of less efficient things. So it's kind of like a trick, right? I feel like in this game, if you're Elise, you just hard gank lanes. You just snowball Sett, you snowball Draven, you snowball Nocturne, get the game rolling. Whereas for the Jarvan, you could do the same thing, but it's kind of geared towards answering the Elise a bit more.
And that's the big issue with junglers this patch, right? The main thing that you have to think about when you think about junglers is high tempo jungling, right? You have to get your lanes ahead, because once you get past, the let's say 20-minute mark, you're not going to have the same impact as you would have in the early game. So if you're this Elise, very good early game champion, you want to look for your lanes, like you said, want to snowball all three of your laners, because again, very strong champions have the ability to pop off. And I think that's what we're going to see. At least that's what we want to see going into this game.
At least that's what we...
No.
It's okay, guys. It's kind of interesting. We're in this weird phase now where it's the second week of Chinese New Year. I can't like help but talk about this because this year's Chinese New Year was kind of interesting. We had like 3 days earlier in the week, right? And then now, you know, this is like the continuation. And
Part 2.
yeah, part 2, right? How,
Yeah.
how was your Chinese New Year?
Alright, I stayed at home, hit from the virus.
Oh yeah, right. No, everyone's like, I kind of want to go Baidian, but also I don't want to get the coronavirus. So it's kind of a I don't know, man. For me, I had family over, so
How was that?
we were this close to setting up a temperature taking station outside our house. Yeah, we were like, you can't be too careful nowadays with these people. Gets a bit dicey. Not gonna lie, gets a bit dicey. The moment we're eating or like having like dinner and someone coughs, you're just like,
Oh.
oh.
Ooh, no please.
Yeah, no, please, not today.
Interesting tangent.
Yeah.
But let's take the temperature of this game. I hope it's gonna be super hot, super spicy. I see a lot of action.
It's like the semi podcast because I'm still in that Chinese New Year movement. I kind of like, I'm still in that phase where even though we've passed the major days, I'm still feeling it. The Gong Xi Fa Chai is still in my blood.
Gong Xi Fa Chai is still in your blood. Okay. Right, we do see a pause. Hopefully it's nothing major.
Yeah. As with first games of the day, tend to be a bit tricky. Of course, some technical issues, but as far as I understand, right, the players themselves are playing at a live venue.
Yeah.
So troubleshooting and all the on-site issues become a lot easier to deal with when you have the players sort of centralized in a personal area.
I believe it is the first on-site qualifier. Play will resume now. We are on the Rift.
All right. I don't know about the first, but it's definitely the largest qualifier we ever had, 20 teams coming in. Of course, we did start the day a bit earlier. We're like halfway through now in terms of qualifiers. For all the information on the brackets, you can go and check out our challenge, and we'll try to put the brackets up for you during the breaks as well, so you guys know what's going on. But right now on the Rift, we have Pacific Pink on, Pacific Purple rather, on the red side, and on the blue is PlayLoud. See how this one goes.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be starting off with a bit of a defensive spread coming in from Pacific. PlayLoud was actually in a 5-stack in the bottom side, but that is no longer the case.
Ooh. I don't like it when people do that. Like, you recall in full vision, right?
Yeah.
And then you give information over to your enemy, and now they're like, well, if Elise is recalling on the top side, and we have a rough estimation of where she warded, can make an educated guess where she's going to start, which is,
Yeah, and one of the things that we do have to be aware of when there is a Jarvan on the other team, you have to really focus in on your bot side, because the ability for Jarvan to just counter jungle you after taking his red, go into your jungle, take your blue, take your red, take your Grom rather.
That's a nice
actually pretty threatening.
It is not just that, but the fact the level 2 cheese gangs also are very scary, right? Especially on immobile champions such as Draven and Karma. And when I say immobile, I mean it in a very specific sense, like they have no dashes, they have no way out of the flag and drag, so if that is in range, it connects. You're in for a tough time. And right now, Elise is going to start on the red side, so she will get the help of her set. Meanwhile, here, the awesome dudes in the bot lane will be helping Jarvan out early on.
Yeah, so you were right. It is a Veigar bottom lane with the Malphite. Once they hit 6, you have to think this is going to be a very threatening bot lane.
Oh, yeah.
Like, sure, your Draven, your Karma, they can poke. But if the Veigar and the Malphite decide they're going to engage on you, there's nothing really you can do if you're too close to run away. Also,
worth noting that these random screen pauses remind me of the LCK when they have like random packet loss. Just like everyone is awkwardly just staring at the screen like, oh, cool. We're frozen for a while now, and then we just gloss over it like nothing happened.
Nothing happened. I don't know what screen pauses. No idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so Jarvan actually did the Crux after the rip buff. I think that's a very inefficient path because now you're late to your level 3 on the top side. Although you did avoid the ward there, yes, you're still gonna hit blue very late. You're going to get a later level 3. At least now actually does have the tempo.
You would think so, but with 2 camps, this Jarvan is actually stronger than the Elise. If you take a look at the minimap, that shows that Elise has only taken red.
She's on Raptors right now, I believe, which is why she's low on health. She might actually die if she doesn't juggle the aggro properly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. 99 health.
Nice. The jungler's nightmare. You're like, if I died to this, my team will never let me live it down.
Oof. Especially since it's competitive, main focal point, again, will be the junglers, high tempo jungling, very important. You want to secure as many dragons as you can, and part of that is actually just, again, getting your lanes ahead. Oh, this Elise is feeling very, very bad, so far behind now. You're talking about how Elise had the tempo advantage. Well, that's
Not
gone
like
out the
that,
window now.
She would have had the tempo advantage if she went from red straight to blue and then over to Grom. Like, for sure. Then you hit bot lane early, Jarvan can't respond, you can snowball the Draven. That's the ideal play, right? But both of these junglers, I would say, misreading the best path to come through, what the most efficient path is going to be. You know, mid lane, the push coming in from the Nocturne. Pretty decent CS in terms of keeping relative. Of course, it's a melee versus range matchup, so it can be a bit tricky sometimes, a bit dicey.
Yeah, like you said, if you're Nocturne, your main MO right now is just to get a level 6. You're fine falling behind a little bit. What you really want is to just stay there, not die, gain as much XP as you can, as short as possible time. And if you're able to stay up in CS, well, that's just a bonus at this point.
That's the thing as well. A lot of people fail to understand. Oh, managed to get a cannon there. Oh, knock up as well. The Brittle. One more auto attack might be decent, but no. Not really finding the face breaker there. So unable to pull the Ornn in. But like I was saying earlier, most people fail to understand that actually EXP is the most important thing right now in the game.
Yeah.
You could lose CS, it's fine. You can take poke, but you need to be in time to catch level 6 on par with your enemy, and you need to set them behind in EXP as well. That's the only way you're going to get a major advantage if both laners are, you know, of equal level.
Right, take a look. Elise is focusing in on the mid lane here, going for that early gank.
In range, Cocoon isn't going to connect though, but the Fear will be able to drive the Orianna away. No Summer Spells expended, also super confident in that, Nicole. No Fear whatsoever. Gank from the Elise actually. I feel like if you flash that, you actually get either the kill or you force a counter flash.
Yeah, especially when you don't land the stun on the Elise. You're not gonna have a good gank.
Yeah.
That's just how this champion works.
If you want like a highlight clip of like Chef's Kiss Elise stuns, go and watch the G2 match like yesterday. Yankos was hitting like max range cocoons like nuts, and I was just like, how is that even connecting, dude? And if you don't have that quality of play on Elise, your ganks become a lot more inefficient.
Yeah, we have to begin, or at least I want to begin questioning, you know, whether or not Azumiko here on the Elise is really very practiced on this champion. I mean, one of the things that I don't really like to do on the champion is, you know, go straight Raptors. Like I think we were harping on this earlier before. But that's just a very unhealthy clear. And now you're about 10 CS down. That's about 2.5 camps.
In my head, Elise is one of those junglers that excels in single camp clears. Like, she is awesome at doing single camp clears. When I say single camp, I mean like both the buffs and Grom, because you can juggle the aggro between yourselves and the spiders very quickly, and you take minimal damage from doing single camp clears. As opposed to, even wolves for the most part is fine. As opposed to something like Krugs or Raptors where they go through and they burn through the health of your spiders so quickly, which is why, you know, Azumiko fell very low on health. Wasn't really fully able to juggle the aggro. And because she didn't clear the big Raptor earlier, I think it's gonna stay there. It won't get a full camp respawn.
Raptors is my most hated camp when I'm playing Elise.
Unless you're playing Kayn, then it's like,
that's
baby,
I start there level 1, it's fine. It's finally gonna pick it up though. Oh, top lane.
A lot of damage down already. Actually, a decent amount of grit being loaded up. One more attack into the Haymaker might be enough, but taking the turret hit might be a bit tricky here for Milagros. So having to back off, now the grit wearing off. Well, actually has a window to all in here if she wants to. She can land a full combo. The damage numbers on Ornn actually deceptively high. Oh, Facebreaker pulling her in. Now the grit, the 2 damage actually not being able to be dodged away from, and that's the Haymaker kill going over to Milagro.
Yeah, Seth, showing just why he is one of the strongest picks on this patch. Didn't even need the grit to kill him at that point.
Haymaker is more than enough. Meanwhile, Event Horizon coming in. A lot of damage down onto the Karma hack. They're having to be very careful here, but Jarvan coming in. Flag and Drag knocking the Draven up. Remember, no mobility whatsoever forces the flash away. And what started out as a pretty good fight here actually went pretty bad at the end, having to burn the Summer Spell.
Yeah, at this point, Jarvan definitely having more success than the Elise in the ganks. Expending the Summoner spell, you can see that he's still hovering around the lane, wanting to come around for another gank. You shouldn't be staying here at this point.
This is a classic gank. Event Horizon coming in. Now the cleanse was a big failure there, unfortunate, but coming in should be the kill, going the way of the Veigar here if they can donate it over. One more auto attack. Guys, you're a bit dicey.
Alright.
Vayne is gonna get it, and like you were saying, you know, Draven overextending there. This is a classic Jarvan regank, right? Burn the flash, wait around, come in round 2. And the cleanse, honestly, not even necessary at that point because you know you're definitely going down.
Yeah, that was just a big of a misplay from the Draven. First in the macro sense, standing there. What is this?
Finding the Nocturne in the jungle, but this is a 2v1. The Fear is going to force the Jarvan away. Oh man, the Shockwave just an inch too far. Unable to pull the Nocturne back in, but the rotation from the Elise and the Karma coming in Hackdog as well as Azumiko moving up the river to secure the Scuttle Crab at least. Meanwhile, Weller moving to the jungle, putting down a control ward. So both teams actually going punch for punch right now. On the top side set, popping off a bit more. Meanwhile, the focus from Karbi has been into bot lane.
Yeah, trade-off vision as well. We do see a bit more vision coming in down in the bottom side of the map for Pacific. With that Mountain Dragon spawn, it's going to be something that you want to look forward to. Elise is not going to be able to solo this dragon, so definitely you want some priority on your bot lane. But when your Draven has already died once, that is going to be easier said than done.
Meanwhile, Grit coming through for the set in top side. We see the Haymaker damage actually not really sticking. Meanwhile, the mid lane Paranoia is available. Ignite coming in, thinking twice about it, but no mana for Dre means that she can't go in for the finishing blow.
Yeah, that is flash burn on the Orianna though, so that is sort of worth. Could look for another trade now as the Elise goes towards top.
Yeah, Milagro pulling in the Ornn with the Facebreaker. Pretty decent dash away though, but the stun is going to connect and this should be a kill. The true damage from the Haymaker. Milagro gets the second kill.
Yeah, no way you're going to miss that stun. Locks up the Ornn, nowhere for you to go. That is 2 kills on the set, starting to build up that lead quite considerably.
This is where things get a bit dicey if you are PlayLoud, because right now you're thinking, well, if the set pops off, like you were saying, get the magic resist, the spirit visage. Hold on, I'm gonna hold my point as the game comes in. Paranoia onto the back line, actually pretty well kited away from, but the teleport coming in from Milagro should reinforce this gang. They're looking for a little bit more, but not enough CC to finish off the kill. So a bit miscoordinated there coming in from the side of Pacific, but they can pivot over to the Mountain Dragon to take this if they want to.
Yeah, and this is the main objective that they were really looking for with that gank. I don't think they were really looking for a kill with the Nocturne jumping in on so little mana.
Right.
But this is the priority in the bot side. This is the dragon that we really want to look at.
Oh, Jarvan committing in. Not really sure you should have donated the kill over. It's going to go to Azumiko, but you have to think that was a bit of a hopeful maneuver coming in with the flag and drag.
Yeah, a little too late as well, just donating another kill. Like you said, that's not really what you want, right? You're already so far behind. Just giving them another kill, it's just going to snowball their lead even further.
And the thing is as well, these early dragons are actually worth much less than the later ones. I was actually doing the computation on this. So think about the idea of getting 3 random dragons versus 3 similar dragons. Dude, just take the 3 similar dragons, there's so much more value, and you can trade that for lane prio and early gold, which allows you to transition to the late game. So I'm not sure, forcing or at least trying your best to all in for these dragon steals is the best play. Like, teams from now on should start understanding, okay, we're okay giving away the early dragons. All we have to do is just find an advantage somewhere else.
Yep. We are going to see a bit of action on the top side, I think. Jungler and top laner teaming up for a bit of a counter jungle here. They actually have a lot of vision in that side of the jungle.
Yeah.
So.
Which is ironic because the strong side is, oh, hold on, gang coming in, looking for the cocoon. Not really going to connect again this time. The Fear will not find the enabled CC either. All the Forge God being used in the mid lane though. A great knock up to Elise and she's going up for days. That is the kill going the way of Karbi. Now they're looking for the Nocturne, but the Shockwave going to miss once more. An inch away. You can't blame them for trying, trying to convert 1 into 2, but it's just going to be the one pickup here for the jungler.
Yep. Gonna be pretty comfortable with just the 1 kill. And it just came down to, having the vision in the top side, right? You don't have vision if you're Pacific. So when they came in from that quadrant, you just didn't know what to
completely blind, especially with the chain CC, flag and drag into Call of the Forge God. That is a major fuse bad if you don't repel in time. Scryer's Bloom being used to spot out this rip buff, which they of course know is available with the control ward. And my earlier point was how it's ironic because right now, despite Set being ahead, all the vision from blue side is in the top quadrant, whereas Draven and Karma has had a really bad laning phase, but they've reinforced vision in the river as well. So instead of playing to their strong sides, they're conceding vision over and saying, okay, we're going to check you in these areas. You can't play too aggressive because we have vision. We know what's going on.
Yeah, and the thing about this is that I don't think this Elise understands that her jungle, this quadrant has been absolutely just warded up for days, so not exactly. Well, now she knows she's been spotted out, but when she was on the blue buff, I don't think. Red buff, rather.
There's one more. Unfortunate Azumiko not clearing the control
ward. You have to check that
bush, guys. That bush is like a hot spot for like control wards. You have to check it no matter what.
One more.
Interesting that this eventually will spot out the Elise, I think. She did pull it in, but the animation's coming through. Meanwhile, Milagro picking up the Tiamat means that this lane is going to be shoved in 24/7. Weller has no choice but to sort of sit under the turret and try her best to CS as it's getting pushed in.
Yeah, and the thing about this is we don't really see top lane being the main focal point for many of these teams in this current patch, right? But the thing about this is that, you know, junglers aren't really paying attention. So if you win the lane, you hard win the lane. And your opposing laner doesn't get to play League of Legends while you're able to just straight up carry.
Yeah, you start to influence the map through your individual gains, as it were. Didn't really need much help. You just kind of find your own leads. Meanwhile, Nicole in the mid lane having to hold off the onslaught that is this Tiamat Nocturne as well.
Yep, just focusing in on where the junglers are going once again. They haven't had exactly the biggest impact on the map, right? I think we saw one dragon take and a few successful ganks. Could have been better, but I think both junglers are pretty happy with how the lanes have gone so far.
This is a... Look at the pings on the top side. So they want to start up the Rift. In fact, they have started up. But right now, 3 people on the side of PlayLoud are actually converging here. So Repel being used in anticipation of this, flashing over the wall, will dodge away from the Call of the Forge God. Meanwhile, the Paranoia coming in. They already split focus here. The Shockwave is going to find two. A great flash coming from Nicole. And the Stopwatch as well might keep her alive. But no, it's going to be the kill being picked up. Overall, the teleport's coming in. It's going to be a double here for the jungler. In comes the Vigor. They're looking for a bit more. Wella manages to get out with her life, but it's jungle and mid lanes going down, whereas Milagro is going to get all the kill credit in that fight.
Oh, Milagro could have actually gone in for that 2v1. I'm pretty sure that would have worked out, but plays it safe. Is able to pick up a bit more farm. Not actually going to go for turret plates. But what that does allow is for that bot lane, this bot lane rather, to come in and push.
Yeah.
Pick up a bit of gold for themselves. Malphite not really going to be able to defend as the Veigar makes his way back down to this lane.
I'm hard-pressed to think that they can take this 2v2, even with Unstoppable Force. They're going to look for it, though. They already landed the GLP, the Event Horizon, though will not find the stun now. They're looking for a bit more. The ultimate should be able to finish him off. The heal being used a bit too late. Cleansing out as well, XDD, XP. A bit of a sticky situation. Needs to buy some space, though, to flash forward from the Malphite with the auto attacks. But here comes the Elise with the counter gank. I say that Event Horizon is just going to keep her locked in. And she's in a spot of trouble right now, having to move out.
Yep, just an unfortunate set of circumstances, not actually predicting the Jarvan to come down bot lane that quickly. They do manage to pick up the kill on the Draven once again. At this point, they're just delaying his online time, as it were. At the moment, he doesn't have as much damage as he would like. Just 2 components of the Infinity Edge. So, feeling very unfortunate is the Jarvan.
Deja vu
the
there.
Draven.
As we saw the Event Horizon come down, but the Elise repelling out once more. Meanwhile, topside is more or less what we expected. The set is just going to abuse this lane. And a hard win against the Ornn. Looking for a bit more damage, actually forcing out the Call of the Forge God. So it's a bit of a sad state of affairs here for the Ornn, having to even pop out to dissuade the re-engage coming in. And remember, the showstopper is actually going to come up pretty soon from Milagro. She could be looking for the solo kill in a couple of seconds.
He absolutely can go in for the solo kill. Can even dive this turret. Take a look at the map. The junglers were shown bot lane. This is a free lane for Milagro to continue pushing in. This is a free turret if nobody decides to come and defend it. And it's actually just going to continue hunting for the Ornn.
Wella's like, peace out, man. I'm not staying around.
I'm not dealing with this.
I've seen this movie before. I know how it ends. In fact, Milagro is still hunting for this kill here. Using the Facebreaker, trying to pull the Ornn back in, but no range available. In fact, the ward over the wall is pretty decent here, so it will spot the Ornn backing off.
What it does do, though, is it pulls the set away from the tower. And set, again, has a very quick tower take with the 1-2 punch, so... with the teleport expanded from the Ornn, there was just a lot of wasted time coming in from the set.
Ornn coming into the top side once more, but I don't think this is where you want to take the trade, buddy. A lot of damage down already. Coming back in and then dropping to a quarter. Meanwhile, the steal coming in. The Jarvan actually finding it shut down on top of him, though. It's going to hurt. The Shockwave does a lot of damage, but no kills confirmed. So, a dragon stolen, but 2 kills given over. Once more, the idea is flawed here. You should not be contesting for these dragons.
Yeah, and you see how they walked in one by one. That's not how you want to go in for a fight. And, well, the Oceans are bringing life, but not so much to PlayLoud, as it were.
And this is a sad state of affairs in the mid lane again, because now Pacific will be able to siege down the mid tier 1. They get a lot of alone time with the turret. Facebreaker in, this should be a solo kill. Looking for the damage though with the Haymaker, but not in range to connect.
Yeah, Ornn at this point is he just straight loses his lane, and you're not gonna feel very good. I don't think you get to play League of Legends at all. You're not tanky, you don't have damage, and there's not much you can do basically.
Right. And because the Orianna and Jarvan hard committed to stealing the dragon, they lose mid tier 1 because they were respawning, they weren't in range to do anything. Now Jarvan coming in, looking to supplement this, but remember, Set excels in dueling 1v2, especially with the True Grit as well as the showstopper. So thinking twice upon coming into the top lane, is Karvi kind of afraid, in fact, to even venture to the top side.
Interesting Raptor clear once again coming from Azumiko. Yeah, like you said, Set is actually deceptively tanky, so going top with this Jarvan right now, even though he is considerably ahead, might not be the best idea.
Okay, finally clears it. Okay.
Hey.
Meanwhile, Set moving down to the river. There's actually a pretty decent ambush being set up. They're going to use the Blast Cone. They're going to come towards the top side. Pacific looking for the play here. Milagro is going to get knocked up, and there you go. It takes 3 members to kill the Set, but eventually we'll find it.
Yeah, that's alright, right? Orianna, all she does, because the mid lane tower is already gone, just loses another wave to the Nocturne, who by this point is actually coming quite online. I want to see if she's able to translate this lead to finding something in the bottom lane, because once again, this Raven, not having the best of days, could use a little bit more assistance from her team.
Observer kindly showing us the gold difference in the top lane. It is a whopping 1.2k, almost a BF Sword's worth of gold. Meanwhile, for all the other lanes, it's more or less even, with a small discrepancy for the Nocturne, of course. Getting the turret means you get extra 500 gold, so it's expected there. It is the first turret after all, so all things considered, by nature of just laning, Pacific finding their own advantages here in the top and mid.
Yep, we aren't going to see a bit... I don't think we're going to see much of action, actually. Now that
they will taper off.
Most of the main objectives are gone. Few more minutes, I believe, until Dragon comes up and no mid-tier 1 tower. So the main objective that you would think that these junglers, or these teams rather, will want to fight around is the Rift Herald, but neither junglers are really looking too interested. As I say that, a ping is actually coming down to start the objective.
Note that Veigar does have the teleport, so with this Rift Herald, it becomes a lot more dicier for Pacific, because at any moment, notice the Veigar can come to the top side and assist. Picking up the GLP makes it a lot more tricky as well. They're going in on the Orianna though. They use the Paranoid, they put her back in, and this should be an easy pickup. Will be donated over to Drea. Now they're looking for a bit more. They will find the Ornn here. Showstopper is available for Milagro, but they say, you know what, it's cool. We pick up the mid laner, we get some prio in the mid lane, and now we move over to the Rift Herald.
Yeah, so now they pick up the Rift Herald, they pick up the mid lane, and at this point, I don't think you're really going to see a teleport coming out from the Veigar, because at this point, with the damage that Infinity Edge done on the Draven, if you teleport out of that lane, they just take the turret.
Have to stay to the bot side is the play now for Vayne as well as Azera. They really just have to scale up, and I'm curious to see how many stacks of AP the Veigar's picked up. It's at 118 right now, you can see, or at least on our screen we can see it's 118. So she's slowly scaling up. Might be able to get to the point of one-shotting the backline, but Rift Herald will be popped in the top side by Azumiko. When the turret's on low health, I tend to not like Rift Herald pops, because then you waste a lot of HP on a low health turret. You see, right now, 3/4 of Rift Herald's health is gone for a 200 HP turret, right? Hashtag not worth.
Yeah, Rift Herald's only good for increasing your tempo when you use it well. And, okay.
It's going to be an easy pickup coming in, although they did commit the Cataclysm as well as the Shockwave, but there was no way out from there. Second charge coming in though, so you get a bit more value there, at least. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, getting pinned under turret right now is the Draven. Oh, and GLP into Event Horizon. Actually, a lot of damage. Manages to dodge away from the Dark Matter, but still gets chunked out quite a decent amount.
Yeah, I like to see the fact that PlayLoud is actually setting up towards the Dragon once again. They're starting to get a little worried wait, they actually have one, so they actually just want to extend their lead rather. Not exactly wanting to stop them from taking the soul or anything. So, even so, putting down low wards, putting in a lot of vision around the Dragon Pit, always something I like to see.
I feel like if you are PlayLoud at this point, you kind of just contest this Dragon, because you're at the power point already. Oh, finding the Elise might be great though. She flashes away, but still gets knocked up by the Unstoppable Force. Meanwhile, the Showmaker, or Showstopper rather, pushes the Malphite into the pit. Azumiko is going to get picked up. Flashing away is Milagro. This choke is very dangerous though. They get multiple men knocked up here, and it should be a one fight coming in for PL. There is no way out, even though the Nocturne arrives a little bit late. The Set trying to turn the tables off this fight. They will just kite him out. The knockups, the knockbacks, and the kills. The True Grit though actually picks up the Jarvan on the way out, so they will be able to kite around this fight, but eventually with the multi-man knockups, they will be able to find a fight.
Yeah, that was a wonderful fight coming in. An ace even for the side of PlayLoud. This is the best.
There was no Ornn bit there, by the way.
Wait.
It was just a series of knockups in a choke, the Malphite, into the Orianna, into the Jarvan. It was just a wombo combo festival.
Yeah, that we were talking about in Champion Select, right? Wombo, combo, composition. They're able to pick up all the things that they want. They put on a lot of vision. They are able to take the fight on their own terms in a very, very tight choke point. They get the perfect setup for the Ocean Drake, and they do pick up their second dragon.
Right, so they will find themselves one step closer to the Ocean Soul, but like we were talking about, even before the fight broke out, I was like, they need to contest this. PL are in a power point right now. We see the Shockwave actually doing a decent amount of damage, and the comp excels at team fighting and wombo combo, so you finding the Elise early is just the bonus of that fight, right? You find the Elise, make it a lot easier for yourselves, and right there we saw the power of the wombo combo.
Wonderful part of this is the random dragon that they do have is Cloud Dragon. And with a wombo combo composition,
You want
with
the
all the
cooldown
ultimates that
reduction.
you have. Yep, exactly. You want the cooldown reduction for your ultimates. Feels very good for PlayLoud right now. Securely, well not securely, a 1k advantage as it stands.
They have sort of neutralized the early deficit, finding themselves ahead now. Meanwhile, the top side Call of the Forge God being used. Actually, the great Phase Breaker pulling Ornn in, so she couldn't reactivate the second half of Call of the Forge God. So kind of tricky in the top side, but nice unique interaction that you can do.
Yeah, and at this point you can see that Ornn is starting to build up a bit more defensive stacks, right? Set's not doing as much damage as he used to earlier on in the lane. Obviously, a true damage is gonna take its toll, but for now, I think Ornn is gonna be pretty okay.
Yeah.
Staying in this lane.
Oh, coming in for the play though. They're looking for the Shockwave. Once more, missing by an inch. Meanwhile, the Showstopper pulls the Ornn back in, but Set is going to get chunked out. And this is what I'm talking about, right? When you need to build magic resist and you don't, instead you go for Black Cleaver, that sort of thing is going to happen like non-stop because they're going to shred through your health from upfront burst. The call right now for Milagro is go instant Spirit Visage. You have no choice. Get MR, gets cooldown reduction, and then try your best to duel.
Yeah, and that's obvious overconfidence coming in from the Set. I mean, you're moving up this far on your lane. You have offensive stats rather than defensive, and you don't have the backup of your jungler. You're just not respecting your opponent at that point.
Remember that's the true damage from her Haymaker actually scales with health because the amount of grit, the max amount of grit you can have is 50% of your max health, right?
Yep.
So actually building health, magic resist, and cooldown reduction is the perfect way to go. Just don't really understand why Black Cleaver is the choice here. Meanwhile, sieging onto the bot tier 1. Good amount of damage down onto the Draven. Here comes the Jarvan, here comes the Malphite, and they will be able to get this because the concession is made. Draven and Karma are piecing out of here.
Yep, and we are going to see the map return to a bit more of a neutral state now. Most objectives are once again gone. I want to see whether or not Set does temper his aggression. Not looking like it though, as he actually just walks into the ultimate.
Buddy. Ignited, killed. Nicole finds the solo kill. You have to think that's overconfidence at its worst.
Where is the respect, yo? Come on, I know Set is the boss, but honestly, this is just a little bit too much.
Yeah. Kind of throwing away the early lead that she solo picked up in the lane, you have to think. And let's be honest, we're not trying to hard flame people. We are calling, out the play as it is. And right there, the obvious or at least safe play is just to kind of build more defensive stats and play safe. Play the side lane, but in this case, you get caught out once, twice. A lot of your side lane power has been forfeited, at least.
It was a mistake, right? And the important thing when it comes to these mistakes is you have to learn from it. First death, okay, never mind. You walk back up, you die again. Hopefully now the Set understands that, hey, I don't have defensive stats. I can't walk this far up in my lane without any backup. Hopefully plays a little bit safer. You can see he's actually going towards bot side now.
Looking for the Trinity Force, so they will be playing the side lane Set here with the teleport. So I think Baron is the next objective. At least they're threatening the top side, saying, we have the strength on the bot half. You guys need to send someone to deal with this guy.
Take a look how dark the map is at this point for Pacific. A bit of a pause. Not actually sure if there's going to be a fight here.
It's a bit of screen lag, but like you were saying earlier to your point, right? No vision whatsoever.
Yeah.
So they will be having to check into not just this wombo combo composition, but also a lot of area control. We're talking about this, the Vigar, the Orianna. You don't want to walk into a confined space with these guys setting up the play already.
Yeah, especially when you did point out the next objective on the map for the taking is actually the Baron. So
the question mark pings.
I think this Elise has actually been tilted since Raptor. So honestly, at this point, I'm not surprised.
No,
I'm
it's
just
cool,
disappointed.
Oof, big oof indeed. Vigar slowly stacking up those AP stacks on the 175 is the number right now. So getting up there. We're getting up there.
And the ward is cleared. So once again, we return to darkness and another fight in the bot side.
Landing the knockup, bouncing the set up once more, using the ultimate, actually getting denied. Wow, great piece of play coming in from Will. I'm not sure if you saw that, but she used the W to deny the showstopper. Meanwhile, coming in for the gank on the top half is going to be a Nocturne finding the kill on the Vigar. And now they have to kite away because they lost the awesome dude. They don't really have enough sustained damage to take this fight. I say that, Orianna actually chunking them out for quite a bit. Can they chase down? No. Here comes the teleport in from the back line. Might be the Ornn arriving now. They overextended a bit too much. Pacific having to back up. The Ornn does not have the Call of the Forge God though, but they will find the Karma with the burst damage coming in from the Orianna.
That was a very interesting fight. I'm not...
Emphasis on the int.
Yeah, the main point I wanted to bring across was actually the vision line because Set once again was overconfident. I think the mid lane play was just a little bit too much as well coming in from the side of Pacific. Not exactly sure why they decided, why the call was to actually go back in when Orianna is still there with a lot of health and a lot of damage. But at the end of the day, they just trade their lives for nothing at all. And PlayLoud is going to secure the dragon as well.
Well, and now feeling super confident in this matchup, picking up a few items of her own. And like I was saying earlier before the fight broke out in the top half, there's this unique interaction between the Showstopper as well as the Ornn W. So the Bellows Breath makes you unstoppable, right? You basically cannot get CC'd. And because she cast at the same time that Set used the ultimate, she wasn't picked up. And that was like awesome because then you deny the damage of a big tanky target landing on top of your teammate. In order for the damage, that AoE CC damage to come in, the person has to be picked up. Ornn is just like, I am playing 4D chess right now. I know what's up. You guys can't really win this matchup anymore.
Oh man, the small micro maneuvers coming from the Ornn, very commendable. As the spell shield actually negating the Jarvan jump as well, so Nocturne does get out alive.
Was their plan all along? Just scaring the Nocturne away, using the Call of the Forge God to re-engage though, trying to pick off the Nocturne, but to no avail. Of course, being a bit greedy there, you have to think. Mew on the top side, Set is going to trade an inner turret for an inner turret.
Yep, that will be a turret trade like you said. Oh, they're going in again.
Going in once more, looking for the Ornn, but that's not the target you want. Extremely tanky and able to soak damage is this top laner. Weller will take the CC and back off. Meanwhile, Elise actually rotating to mid tier 2 and opening up the map a bit more.
Yeah, at this point, I think if you're Pacific, you just have to play the macro game. Honestly, right now, PlayLoud, they have a lot of defensive stats. They don't really have offensive stats, interestingly enough. So it's just like, if you're Pacific, you're punching a brick wall, and they're not really punching back. So at some point, this Veigar is going to start ramping up to that high damage profile. But until then, or even after then, I think Pacific, they can, if they're able to split up the map, they should be able to take a lot more targets.
You're 100% right on that. Like, your idea here is definitely to play the side lanes because you can't play the team fights. Their wombo combo is just way too strong. We saw the impact of that earlier, right? So allow Milagro to play the side lanes, you know, force members of PlayLoud to come and commit resources into dealing with this split pushing Set. We saw how it required at least 2 to 3 members to even pin down the Set, right? So play the side lanes, understand that your value is in just splitting the map open and playing the side lanes.
Yep, good stuff coming in from PlayLoud at the moment, just pushing the vision line up even to make sure that if they do decide to start up this Baron, it's gonna be pretty much blackness for Pacific to come in and contest. So, and there's good vision wards coming in.
There's no clean way for them to check this apart from using the Elise W, the volatile spiders, I believe, is because unlike the Orianna who has the ball, you know, there's really no clean way. The Jarvan Demacian standard, there's no clean way for them to check. So, like you mentioned, completely dark on the top quadrant forces them to sort of move in apprehensively to clear vision out.
Yeah, and at this point, you have to begin to wonder if Pacific, they do decide to go for these fights again, right? I'm not sure where the damage is going to be coming from. This Draven has not been able to pop off, has died a lot actually, has lost a lot of stacks. So at this point, not exactly doing as much damage as would be necessary for a successful team fight. And
the major problem is the Draven can't walk in.
Yeah.
The threat of area control is just so high on the PlayLoud side that Draven's like, I can't even move into range to auto attack, right? So you have to back off, you have to consistently reassess the threat level of what is out, what area control spells have been cast already.
Interested to see whether or not Pacific is going to be able to sniff out that they are actually starting the Baron at this point.
Going out very slowly though.
It's going very slowly, but the fact that Ornn and Orianna are still showing mid lane right now is
smart. will eventually be sniffed out though as they put the ward across the wall, and Elise is in range, does not have the flash just yet, but will have the repel to get into this pit if she needs to. Now they have full vision, they will even pop the Scryer's Bloom to see this. It's down to 5k health. What is the call here coming in from PlayLoud? Do they commit to finishing this off, or do they back out of this one? Milagro does have the teleport to join in. Remember, the set arriving in this fight will be a big problem for them.
There we go.
In fact, here we go, coming in for this fight. Call of the Forge got baiting out the teleport. They will not be able to use the second recast though, so that is a big issue. And now comes the paranoia from the Nocturne. Does not want to activate it to dive into the backline just yet. In fact, just using it for the CC, buying space for her team. A great cocoon on the front line will stop the ensuing chase, and they will reset the Baron. They spend a lot of resources committing the teleport from set to deny this, but at the end they'll just go back to a stalemate.
Ooh, very spicy dance back and forth around the Baron pit. I think that teleport, especially coming in from the set, that was the go button.
Yeah.
I think they just pressed it way too soon. The Baron was not fully committed to yet. It was still at about 2k health.
5k, I believe.
Around 5k,
Yeah.
2 to 5k. So PlayLoud was actually able to just disengage from the teleport, and that is, like you said, a very expensive cooldown wasted on the side of Pacific.
And because they did play that sort of in and out, will they, won't they game, you expend the teleport from the set, so now the set cannot play silence anymore. You can't comfortably go to bot lane and say, I'm going to split push 24/7, because Baron is now a problem. Speaking of objectives though, Ocean Dragon will be started up. Shockwave from Nicole is going to whiff, and this should be them claiming this. I say that though, Milagro coming in, they're looking for the steal. A great show. Oh my goodness, the steal coming in was not successful in the end though. They will pick up the fight on the back, and look at the Draven. No space whatsoever, having to flash out, getting knocked out once more. And like we said, the area control just too strong coming in from PlayLoud. Maximum grit achieved from the set, looking for the damage. Will use the Haymaker though to knock members off the map, but eventually the knockups are too good, and PlayLoud will be able to claim that fight. Just the area control, we saw Draven getting pinned down consistently, and there's no way out.
And welcome to the Bouncy Castle, welcome to Knockup Land. And at this point, honestly, you have so many good dragons on the side of PlayLoud. You have three, you have the Ocean Soul and the cooldown reduction. This is the best possible result coming in for the side of this Wombo Combo composition. They do pick up the dragon, and now they are going to pick up the Baron.
Apart from a miracle steal coming in from Hackduck here, I highly doubt they will be able to get this. It's going to take an empowered Q to somehow steal it away, but even then, there is the ball being put there, there's the shockwave available, so they will not want to be tempting fate here. In fact, not even connecting on the angle there, so it will be taken away by blue team here. PlayLoud picking up the Baron buff for the next 3 minutes.
Yeah, at this point, PlayLoud looking comfortably in the lead. I don't see any way for them to really lose this game, except unless they make several mistakes. So right now, the ball is in their court. It's up to them to decide how they want to end this up.
And if we look back at this game and like where it all went wrong, right? We were talking about how Elise should have pathed the bot side a lot more and helped reinforce the Draven lane, because the early lead was actually picked up by Set solo.
Yeah. Whereas
Jarvan was 24/7 sitting on bot lane, camping the Draven Karma, making sure that there were no aggressive moves being made by the bot lane, the traditional bot lane, right? All they had to do was neutralize the Draven's threat, and then boom, you have the power to team fight with a reduced Draven with the ability to knock everyone up.
And there was a point that I brought up, right? That once you win topside, you really just hard win the lane, unless the junglers really start focusing you. And the fact is, in this game, they didn't, right?
Yeah.
And the only reason why this set is not popping off, has not popped off rather, is the fact that she did actually go for these overconfident plays, did actually die 2 or 3 times, and now it's just really thrown away any lead that she could possibly have had.
Event Horizon being used to zone the members of Pacific away. You can see Set is actually looking in the corner for a showstopper play coming in. Angle is not available yet though, so very tricky for Milagro to get into the thick of things. I have to see if the flank pays off. She's still sitting on the corner of this fight, actually being driven away right now by Azaria. Pulling her in with the face breaker, and she might have the angle here. Jumping in, Call of the Force God being used. Actually, a great Cataclysm knocking 2 members in, and with the Unstoppable Force as well as the Shockwave. See you later. Not playing this anymore. You guys are out of this fight and probably out of this game.
I was going to say that they're fine just sitting there letting the big minions chunk out the objectives, but I guess when you're this far ahead, you just go in, take the fight, get the clean kills.
That is
and just end the game.
Such a beautiful fight coming in. You have to think that it couldn't have gone any other way with the Wombo combo, right? Cataclysm into 2, boom, Unstoppable Force into Shockwave. Simple execution, clean, low margin for error. PlayLoud, pick up the game.
Yep, and what can I say? looked a little shaky in the early game when the set decided to pick up a few kills on the Ornn, but at the end of the day, they pick up the slack. They play to their win condition, and they managed to pick up very late, clean team fights. At the end of the day, they win the game.
I feel like that's what you pick the Ornn for, though. It's like, it's okay if you lose the lane a bit.
Okay.
When you arrive in team fights, your ability to just juggle them in the air 24/7 and be just this frontline menace, disallowing people to walk in, that's the threat.
That is true.
Your team fighting threat is just so high that people can't do anything. And we take a look at the damage graphs, actually. We do have the numbers on our screen. I'm not sure if we can put it up, but Orianna actually did majority of the damage for them. It was these wombo combo fights where Cataclysm layered into Unstoppable Force into Shockwave, just burst members down so quickly, and there's no response. If you're Draven getting caught in a Cataclysm, you just, you know what, walk away from the screen, go to the toilet, get a cup of coffee, because you're not playing League of Legends for the next 40 seconds.
Feels super bad, man. And you can see that the awesome dude Veigar didn't actually do all that much.
Event Horizon value,
I guess that's the only reason you pick the champion for the win condition.
Yeah.
Of the wombo combo once again. But yeah.
With that, I think we will see PlayLoud moving forward. Unfortunately for Pacific, the draft was there, the idea was there, execution leaving a little to be desired. With that, guys, we will be going for a short break, and when we come back, we have the next match for you. We will try to get the brackets up, inform you a bit more about the state of things as we go on. But for now, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.